Hey, good morning and welcome. So, this is a bit different. Albi is in for a service update, software update. It's been done, and there's lovely people at BMW Rybrook Wolverhampton have loaned me a R9T option 719. I'm taking it back now, and I just thought I would share my thoughts on this bike. So let's get this show on the road. So I rode it home last night. It was all a little bit strange, let's say. So on start up. Wow, does it the bike twist and throw itself to the right? Boxer engine trait, but more pronounced ever than I've ever seen on Albi. More about that later. Anyway, off we go. Right, so off to Wolverhampton. Let's give you some thoughts. Well, this is as everybody knows, this is BMW's Retro Classic, the bike that you can customize and make your own. And quick ride now, and let's just give you my thoughts about it. Well, as you expect, the engine's got tons of torque. It's quite a small bike coming from a GSA. Almost feels like a toy as I push it around. As you can see from this, it's because it's got a boxer engine. It's nicely balanced for slow riding. All the controls are light. The ride position's okay for a naked cafe racer that isn't really a cafe racer because it hasn't got clip-ons. So the ride position is comfortable. One thing I am aware of, and I've been aware of it since the moment I rode it, is as I come down through the gearbox for say a corner and I rev match, the whole bike just twists, kind of unsettles the bike. I'm sure it's something you get used to, but it's not something I notice on the GSA, probably because the size and mass of the GSA overcomes the spinning forces of the engine slightly, but on this it's very pronounced. Many would say characterful, but I'm not so sure. Just try a slow roll up here. So, slow speed balance, absolutely spot on. You couldn't wish for better. Seat seems reasonably comfy, but I wouldn't want to do a lot of miles on it. And on this particular one with the hump, there's no provision for a pillion, although there are pillion seats, pillion pegs. This one comes with option 719 paint, red frame, it's got the optional heated grips, cruise control. As I said, I've only got this bike as a loaner, so I haven't delved into every specification on this bike. And I think the current price is about £16,000. So it's not pocket change. There's no quick shifter, and the gear change is good enough. So I'm just coming this way through Ironbridge, because that then leads me onto a nice twisty road towards Bridgnorth. Get a better feel for the handling of the bike. So instruments, basic speedo rev counter with a couple of LCD screens, and the figures on the speedo are really small and for me pretty unintelligible because I don't have the best eyesight in the world, so I have to approximate what speed I'm going at. But again, you're going to get used to that. But they're black on white, nice and retro. They do the job. The gold forks look the part. The red frame is nice and sporty. And we've got Brembo calipers at the front and the back. Feels very similar to the Triumph Thruxton I've ridden, although the Thruxton engine is a little bit more characterable, maybe a little bit, the engine is a little bit more is a little bit more throaty, feels a little bit more like it's got bigger lungs, but I wouldn't say it had. I think it's got more power on paper. So now we're coming out into the countryside a bit more. We can open it up. So close to the throttle there for a clutchless upshift. Really unsettled the bike. Doesn't like that at all. Using the clutch, smooth as you like. And there, rev matching as I come down the box. You can see the whole chassis shimmy. But that overtake was absolutely effortless. Yeah, it's fun on the Sunday morning. Wouldn't be the only bike I'd want to have in the garage though. As the speed builds up, you want to put yourself forward a little bit. Fourth gear, 65 mile an hour. What more could you need? So that's well up there at legal speeds. Just trying to outrun the rain now. Downhill, left hand bend. Oh yeah, the engine brake and using the front brakes really slows you down. Suspension's quite firm. And this road road's quite smooth, having been resurfaced. I will say the mirrors are lovely and clear. Hardly any blur in those mirrors at all at any speed. So I wouldn't say it's as nimble as something like a Triumph's RS765, or in fact, what else? Something like a Suzuki GSX 1000. But there's no doubting it's a lot of fun. So here we are coming into Bridge North. One of these lovely medieval Shropshire towns. Certainly feels so much lighter in comparison to the GSA, but then again, what would the nice wide bars give you good leverage. So manoeuvrability about town is never going to be a problem. Quite a pronounced bend to the knees, and I'm only 5'6", 5'7", so taller people are going to feel, I would think, quite cramped. Almost like they're wearing the bike or perched on the bike. It's probably, this bike feels a good size for me, or I feel like I'm a good match for the bike. I haven't noticed the bike be unsettled by any bumps in the bends. Like I say, a little bit of work sorting out the suspension, maybe making it a little bit softer in the back for me, because I don't weigh very much, would have its advantages. This is quite a hill. I'm in fourth gear and it's just pulling up here fine. It's not a lot of weight, I'm not sure what it is, it's 190 kilos, something like that. Applicable like a full-on sports bike, but it is, it handles old school. It's got that old school character. It's got a standard BMW exhaust on the back. The exhaust tone is very muted. But as this R90 platform is infinitely customizable, I guess you can have as much noise as you want from aftermarket exhausts. that's a 6-gear roll-on. Effortless. So we're going to look maybe if we can for a 50 mile an hour 5th gear roll-on overtake. That got job done. So this is going to be a little B road blaster, I think. Okay, out on the A roads, but a lot more fun on a slightly narrow, twistier B road. And at lower speeds in higher gears, really very, very relaxed. Very few vibrations through the bars. On a smooth road at higher speeds, you do notice the vibrations coming through the bars though. So as a second or third bike, who wouldn't want one? Especially if you're a BMW fan, you love the Boxer, you want something sporty. Something sporty, a bit retro. I can't see any arguments against this. Or if you're somebody who wants to customise, you know, make a bike your own, and doesn't want to go down the Royal Enfield on the Triumph route, this is going to do it for you. I think there's lots of aftermarket parts that can make this into everything from a Dakar, a modern Dakar look, to a cafe racer. I think that you can make it look like an urban GS. Oh, the possibilities are endless, and lots of people are in fact doing that. And yep, I can see why. A lot of fun. But not your first bike in the garage, not your only bike in the garage. What don't I like about it? But not a lot really. It takes a bit of getting used to the way the chassis moves when you rev match. You can't do clutchless gear changes so well without unsettling the chassis. But the brakes are great, the riding position's okay. And again, you can tweak that. The handling's spot on for what it is. I dare say it'd even be fun on a track day. It's not going to be the fastest track bike, but it is going to let you ride closer to the limit and experience the like more, say, the sort of a litre superbike is going to. And that's the point about bikes like this. You can ride them more to the limits of the bikes than these litre sports bikes, where you can't get anywhere close to the edges of their performance envelope. These sort of bikes just get you right up there.